To set the stage for those who are unaware, let us first make a big picture glimpse at their core philosophical, religious, and scientific beliefs in Untinism, starting with Illuminism, which can be reduced to the following 10 rational assertions, and from which all the rest follows. Here's the same Illuminist cosmology in a much greater detail. Sounds familiar, does it not?
Remember that all things start in perfect unity, and then, through the disorganization of energy information, separation occurs, and this is what generates the illusion of the material dimension of space-time. But remember that this is just an illusion. The physical domain does not actually exist. It is simply an illusion that occurs because of the disorganized energy information. When this separation has reached a maximum, it then begins to return. This means the energy information begins to reorganize itself. This continues until it is perfectly organized. This is the end of the illusory dimension of matter, and at this point, the final cause, all that exists, is pure mind. Now we will introduce a new concept. Reality is not linear, it is cyclical. If reality were linear, then there would be a beginning and an end, and that would be that. This kind of thinking is highly illogical. This is a reality of motion. Nothing can ever stop. Everything is eternally moving. Reality is not linear. It is cyclical. Everything occurs in cycles. The sun rises and sets, days come and go. Everything is in a cyclical, repeating pattern. This is true for reality itself as well. This means this process of separation and return is a repeating pattern. This cyclical process of separation and return continues for eternity. Even though this process repeats for eternity, each time it repeats, the content will be different.
That is because it's the same as Hyperianisms, although presented in a visual form, making it easily digestible to the audio-visual generation. Let's break it down a bit more and examine these beliefs in greater detail. Here is a number of some of the core pieces of the cosmology, which are indispensable to these two worldviews. We will take these one by one and examine them, with corresponding materials provided.
You as an avatar may crumble, but you as a mind will exist and have existed for eternity. And you are on a spiraling trajectory of evolution towards evolving into God.
We're going to look at why is there existence rather than non-existence. So let's take a look at this. Now, to understand the answer to this question, we have to look at the principle of sufficient reason. Because once we have the principle of sufficient reason, we can show the existence of ontological zero, we can show the existence of, all possible mathematical configurations within zero, how this results in sinusoidal waves, and then how sinusoidal waves via Fourier mathematics can be used to build the material universe and facilitate the interaction of mind and matter. So what this means is that the PSR is the bedrock of Hyperianism, the bedrock of our system, and given that that's true, we can derive existence.
Now think about all these strange particles. It's unextended, it's massless, it doesn't take up length, width, or height. You can fit a myriad of photons all in a single point. What else has these properties? Mind, thought. Your mind, your thoughts don't take up any space either. They don't have any height, length, or depth. You can't measure them with a ruler. The same thing with light. That's because light is mind. Remember, energy in its purest form is light. All of reality is mind, and the purest form of mind is light. Light and mind is the foundation of existence. Light, mind, is frequency, mathematical pattern. And everything around you is transformed mind, is transformed thought, is transformed light.
Although the focus of our investigation centered around ontological mathematics, here is a couple of excerpts pertaining to the similitude of the Illuminist and Hyperianist political systems.
And yes, this is a message from the New World Order that outlines our vision of the future, because we are opposed to the Old World Order. So what I really want to emphasize too is what our system of meritocracy is about, because I want you to think of two very, very opposed ideas, right? On one hand, you have communism, and then on the other hand, you have capitalism, okay? So you have capitalism and communism. They're sort of the opposites. They're antithetical to each other. And what we are proposing for a new world is not capitalism, not communism, but meritocracy, which is a third idea. It is a synthesis higher and above these other two ideas. So you can think of it kind of like if you want to use an analogy of a race, capitalism is like a rigged race, where some people start at the beginning, and then others start like a few feet from the finish line. That's because, the rich elites can transfer their wealth through inheritance to their children. And what's communism? Communism is a race, but everyone is forced to run at the same speed. Meritocracy is the system that is the fair race, where everyone starts at the same starting line, and the race is determined, who wins the race, who goes farther than others. It depends on the individual's merit. So you see how meritocracy is the system that is the fair race. Meritocracy is the system that is above and beyond these lower ideas. So, it's about having this fair race. It's about removing power from the rich elites, abolishing this idea of being through inheritance, transferring huge amounts of wealth to their children. It is about making sure that we also have qualified voting as well. Is that if you want to vote on something, you need to show that you have an understanding of what it is that you're voting on.
show that the similarities do not stop there, and that the plagiarism charge does not restrict itself only to concern ontological mathematics, but in fact applies to the system as a whole, extending far and wide also into various other aspects of the Hyperianist system, including their psychological teachings. By now it should be obvious to the viewer that an uncannily close resemblance exists between Illuminism and Hyperianism, and that such a similarity cannot be a coincidence. The question then is, what explains such a coincidental similarity? How did they come to resemble each other so closely? This will be the third and final phase of our investigations, after which we can pass the verdict upon Corey Raybaum and his co-conspirators. The following narration is the long and short of it all.